के लिए जिंदगी, जले बहार के लिए जिंदगी, किसी को हो ना हो हमें तो एतबार, जीना इसी का नाम है। रिश्ता दिल से दिल की एतबार का, जिंदा है हमें से नाम प्यार का। रिश्ता दिल से दिल की एतबार का, जिंदा है हमें से नाम प्यार का। कि मर के भी किसी को याद आएंगे, किसी के आंसुओं में मुस्कुराएंगे, कहेगा फूल हर कली से बार बार, जीना इसी का नाम है। किसी की मुस्कुराहट का हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते होते मिलता, जीना इसी का नाम है। Alright guys, I hope you feel warmed enough now and energized.
We started our program.
All of you, please take a seat. Where are the speakers? We want them on the panel. Let's get started, Dinesh ji. I know. I want everybody in the seat, please. I would like to welcome Ashok ji to continue where he left off. Please give him a big round of applause. Ashok ji.
No, start beginning. Ashok ji, start from the beginning.
So anyway, now, afternoon, I mean, she gave me such a generous introduction, but she's what they call Chupa Rustam. I didn't know she was such a good singer. She's a singer, she's a sponsor, she's a dentist, she's going to talk about our dental health. And she's been with the community, excellent MC, and I really appreciate her effort. Thank you. So anyway, coming back to what...
Please quiet.
You have to listen to Ruparna ji. She's the organization, the main person of this event. And she does this every year. Anyway, Gopio LA is one of the very active chapters in Southern California for Gopio International.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be quiet. Let's pay due respect for the speaker.
So, my purpose of coming here to talk is making an appeal to support our events. We do events like, we do blood drives, collaborating with Red Cross. We do beach cleaning, collaborating with the city, wherever we go, Long Beach or Huntington Beach. And we have Kavi surveillance. We call Kavis from India. I think we have done 3-4 times already now. And we are planning again. And also, you're coming to this event today. And all this arranging and organizing, it takes a lot of money. It takes a good amount of money. So my purpose of talking to you today is to please, if all this resonates with you, please open your hearts and donate whatever you can towards GoPLA programs. Any amount is good. Nothing is too small. So I will humbly request to sponsor or donate whatever you can. We we have a whole bunch of members here. Another thing you could do is join us as a member of GoPio LA. The fee, basically the fee is $50, but it's $100 because it covers all the food throughout the year for all the events. So the membership fee is $100, and if it's a couple, it's $125. That covers both husband and wife. So with that, by the way, can I ask all the GoPio LA members to please stand up? So we see how many members we have. Thank you. Thank you. Up number nine? Yeah, that's okay. So please remember name.
You could also raise your hand if you cannot stand up.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our group. So we'd like more of you to join. So if you would please join GoPio LA, that'll be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok ji. I hope all of you will join GoPio LA and make it a great success. And if you cannot join, you can definitely donate. We appreciate that. But I think becoming a member really goes a long way. We're looking forward for your support. Thank you, Ashok ji. Thank you, wonderful. All right, now we have Rajendra Dhunna. He is the chair of GoPio LA and Rajput Association. You know, he's the unofficial peacemaker of our group, of the community. When he says, let's go for the meeting, everybody follows him quietly, without questioning. So he has that much power. So, not only that, you know, he unites all the community groups together faster than any of those WhatsApp forward groups which divides us and causes communal disharmony. What do you say? Don't you think so? So don't pay attention to that forwards, you know, from WhatsApp. So here comes Rajendra Dhunna. He's going to talk about trustees, presidents, and the chairmen. Thank you. Please give him a big round of applause.
Dr. Noor, for the beautiful introduction. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rajendra Dhunna. I'm the chair for the GoPio LA chapter. Panaji asked me to introduce overall all the board of trustees. So this is my great privilege and honor to introduce the board of trustees as past presidents and chairman of the GoPio LA chapter. GoPio chapter, we have the first person. He doesn't need any introduction. You all know him, Mr. Kevukanda. He's a founding member of GoPio LA chapter in 2013. President, chairman, board of trustee, supporting since then. All the events, all the presidents, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. They both are board of trustee and past president, chairman. And my to share with you guys all responsibilities that all the roles they play on the board of trustee behind the scene for the association. I have a long list, but I see we don't have enough time, so I'll just keep it short so we get faster. All the board of trustees, they set the chapter vision, goal, and ensuring the alignment with the GoPio mission. The board monitors operations, programs, finances, ensuring accountability and transparency. They empower the executive team committee to execute initiatives effectively. The board helps secure and build the relationship with the community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rajendra ji. You know, he's so calm and effective, and he proves that leadership doesn't need noise. All it needs is just heart, and that is Rajendra Dhunna. Please give him a big round of applause one more time. Thank you, thank you. Now we have Baljinder ji. He's going to talk about the executive committee members. He's the vice president of GoPio LA and president-elect for 2026. And he's the founder of Apna Punjabi group. So that means he gets all Punjabis to agree on something which is harder than explaining the taxes, right? So he's an entrepreneur, a great community leader. He supports many organizations. So he's the pride of Punjabi community. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Hello. Respected members, guests, I'm honored to stand before you today as your president of 2026-28 of GoPio LA chapter. I am excited to introduce my executive committee, and together we will take a Gopi LA new heights. First up, Aparna Handedi, Yadri Shukla ji, Priya Kumar, and Geeta Gupta. Our team is committed to serving our community and making a positive impact. We are thrilled to welcome our new members who joined the Gopio, and I look forward to working with you. First up is AJ Gopalpur, and some new members not coming today, so it's Nisha, Mike Makbul, Hardeep Singh, Preeti ji. If anybody wants to join today, Gopio is 25% discount today.
Wow, get the town, get this.
Only today.
Before 2 p.m.
Let's make the Gopio next 2 year unforgettable. We will organize culture program, community service project, and networking opportunity. Our goal is to build a strong and more vibrant community. Thanks also to the board of trustees, past president and chairman, all the Gopi members, so much trust in me. Let's work together, make a Gopio more shine and make a Gopio strong again ever before. Thank you so much. हम काम करेंगे दिन रात, हम काम करेंगे दिन रात समाज की सेवा के लिए, हम काम करेंगे दिन रात समाज की सेवा के लिए, हम सब प्यार हैं, हम सब प्यार हैं. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. I didn't know you were a great poet. That surprised me. All right, so now we have Ashok Patnaik, very highly respected member of the community. He is being the commissioner of City of Cerritos. He has done so much volunteer services in City of Cerritos. Even Google Map points him for directions. He's that great, and he keeps our park green and healthy and very creative for us. Let's welcome Mr. Patnaik.
Thank you. You're a good MC, by the way. You make everybody smile also with your profession.
Thank you.
First of all, my name is Ashok Patnaik. I'm the Vice Chair and the Commissioner for City of Cerritos, where we have 26 parks. Again, first of all, I want to thank Aparna Hande, Owner of the Year, for putting a great program. She does it like every 3 months on the clock. She did a program yesterday at Sanatan Dharam Temple, and there was a medical camp there, and I think a lot of the folks took advantage of that. I myself took advantage of it. My A1C is very good. Thank you so much for organizing the event yesterday. But again, on a different note, I want to congratulate Gopio, Gopio LA, Gopio International, Keval Kanda, Ashok Madan, Vajita, everybody for putting a spectacular program today. And lastly, I do have a job. I make a living not by being a commissioner in the City of Cerritos, where they don't pay my mortgage, but I work for Wallace Bank, and we have supported this event today by donating money and all the little goodies that you have seen. Thank you again, Aparna, for allowing me to speak for a few minutes. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Patnaik. Now I would like to welcome Zeel Ahir. She's a city council member. Where is she? Is she around? Zeel Ahir? All right. You're so tiny. We have to look for you. She graduated from Fullerton, and she has psychology major. I mean, she wears so many roles. She's psychology expert. She's a community leader. She's a tutor, internship coordinator. She does so much. I think secretly she has a time machine, which we don't know. I don't know how she handles all of these roles, and we really appreciate her. She's a great community leader. Let's welcome Zeel Ahir to say a few words.
I think I'm ready, but for those of you who weren't there when I started to speak, I work with Sahas, and I'm also the city council member from the city of Artesia. Anybody walk on Pioneer? Anybody familiar with Pioneer Boulevard? Yes, thank you, thank you. Please come support, and if anything, just come and walk. We love to see all the activities and people. So that's there. Like I said, I do have a footing in government and a footing in society. So I gather information, and what I do is I design programs that can help us all. So if there's any need, please come reach out to me. I would love to support, and I really want to congratulate GoPio LA. You guys are committed, and it shows. Every year you do this, rain or shine, and every year you bring innovation and the best speakers to give us insight. So this is honestly a gem. So thank you, and continue.
Thank you, Zila, for being so unstoppable and being such a great role model for all of us. We really appreciate you. So next we don't have, I don't know, do we have Ali Sajjad? All right, so let's skip that. We're gonna go to our next speaker, Dr. Renu Joshi. She was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, they had a death in the family just 1 or 2 days ago, so she was not able to attend. She's an endocrinologist, and she has sent a video presentation. She has learned so much about diabetes, like almost 35 years of studies and research. So she's going to talk about how we can prevent it, and she's a powerhouse. In fact, even sugar level gets scared to rise in front of her. She has so much deep knowledge. Let's see what she has to say.
So where is the sound thing? Ever?
Just play. Play.
Hi, I'm Dr. Renu Joshi. I've been an endocrinologist for the last 25 years, and I'm really sorry that I'm not available to you in person to share the topic of diabetes with you because of a family emergency. But I'm recording this video so I can still talk about diabetes in South Asians, the top 10 things you need to know in 2025. And my very special thanks to Aparna ji and her whole team for inviting us for this very precious seminar. So I'm going to share my screen and then start talking. So diabetes in South Asians, top 10 things you need to know in 2025. So the first question is, what is diabetes? A fasting blood sugar, a normal blood sugar, is less than 100 after 8 hours of fasting. Any blood glucose above 126 or equal is diabetes, and a blood glucose above 100 and less than 126 is known as pre-diabetes. There's another test which is a non-fasting test called as A1C. This measures glucose for the last 3 months. Less than 5.7 is normal. More than 6.5 or equal is diabetes, and 5.7 to 6.4 is pre-diabetes. So the second important thing you want to know, what kind of diabetes I had, if I had diabetes. The type 1 is where body does not make insulin at all. It is called the insulin dependent, and it's usually less than 10%. Our focus is not going to be on this one, but the next one, which is called type 2 diabetes. Here, your body is making insulin, but is not able to use it properly. And this is called the adult onset diabetes, and it happens in 90% of the population. So the second important question is, what are the trends? There is unfortunately increasing trend in all countries for all diasporas in India, US, UK, Australia, and every other country. The prevalence of diabetes has gone up from 11.2% to 22% in many studies. And this remains higher than all European and US populations, which is close to 10%. What is the other problem? Is all South Asians get diabetes 10 years younger and at a lower body weight than others. And moreover, the pre-diabetes is happening in 1 out of 3. So 1 out of 3 people sitting there probably has pre-diabetes. So why do we get diabetes early? It's the concept of thin fat India, which means we are thin up till the waist, but then around the navel we start getting fat deposition, and this is why we call as thin fat India, which also means that we have a lower BMI, which is a body mass index, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But we do have a much higher visceral fat, which is not only just deposited below the skin, but it is also deposited in the liver, in intestines, and other organs of the body. And that's why our bodies are called apple-shaped as opposed to pear-shaped. Apple-shaped means that most of our fat is deposited around our belly area, while the pear-shaped means that the fat is deposited around the buttocks, which is not harmful for the heart, but it is the fat around the belly which is very harmful for the heart. And then finally, we have much less muscle mass. Even as a child or a baby, we are born much thinner muscle, especially in our upper extremities and the lower extremities. And this thin muscle mass contributes to developing diabetes because insulin is primarily used in the muscle. So what is BMI? A BMI is a weight in kilogram divided by height in meters square. So for normal population, for American population, the normal BMI is less than 25. But for Indians, it is less than 23 because we are generally thinner. So if we have a BMI above 23, we have a higher chance of becoming a diabetic. 23 to 27 is overweight, and more than 27 BMI is called obese. So how do you know you have diabetes? Unfortunately, majority of the time, there are no symptoms. Especially pre-diabetes has absolutely no symptoms. But you can have increased thirst, increased hunger, tiredness, blurred vision, increased urination, and weight loss. But all of them come very, very late. 80 to 90% of the time, you will only find out diabetes by testing for it. So who should get tested? Every South Asian, any South Asian, above 35 years of age or more, you have to get tested for diabetes, which I mentioned before. If you have normal blood sugar, you should be tested every 2 to 3 years. But you should be tested much earlier and every year with one or more risk factors. So if you have a low HDL, less than 35, if you have high triglycerides, more than 200, which a lot of South Asians do have, if you have a first degree relative with diabetes, your mom, your dad, your sister, if you have a family history of heart disease in a male at less than 50 years of age, if you are obese, if you have a BMI above 23, if you have a history of high blood pressure, if you have a history of diabetes during pregnancy, and if you have borderline diabetes or pre-diabetes, you should be tested every year in the morning for a fasting sugar to find out if you are diabetic. So this practically leads that almost every adult as a South Asian will need testing for diabetes. So that raises the question, what can diabetes do to you? It is a silent but nasty disease. It affects your eyes, it can cause blindness, it affects your nerves, and it can cause feet problems, ulcers on your feet. It can affect the kidneys and can cause kidney failure. It is the #1 cause of heart attack and stroke. And diabetes, as we call it, as an endocrinologist, when you have diabetes, it's equal to having a heart disease. So we practically call it an equivalent. So, if diabetes is so nasty, how do you prevent these complications? So number one, you need certain tests. Once you have diagnosed as diabetes, you get an A1C test done every 3 months, which is the average blood sugar, like I said before. Normal value is less than 5.7. You should also get a cholesterol panel, LDL, HDL, triglycerides every year. For our patients, you should also get another test, Lp(a), which we cover a lot in our Brown Heart documentary. We should do a urine test specific for protein called as microalbumin creatinine ratio. And the normal urine test will not cover that. So you have to specifically ask for this test to your doctor. You should get a baseline EKG to make sure you do not have a heart problem. And you should have liver and kidney tests done every year. So these are mandatory tests for diabetes, which everyone should get every year. So, if you're a diabetic, what is our goal? And these are American Diabetes Association guidelines for goals for diabetes. So, if you are younger and you have very few risks and you do not have complications, the risk has to be very small for controlling sugars very, very tightly. So, as low as A1C you can keep, ideally less than 6.5%, the 3-month test, but if you can keep it lower, even better. But as you get older, and you have more complications, especially if you're above 75 years of age, and you are in poor health, and you have complex medical illness, your A1C can be okay if you are at less than 8%. But at no time, we want the A1C to be above 9 because that increases your risk of infection and admission to the hospital. So it is all dependent on what your age is and how tightly you want control. So if you're younger and have less than 10 years of diabetes, control as much as possible and keep your A1C as low as possible. Some of the other goals for diabetes, your cholesterol, LDL has to be less than 70 if you're a diabetic. Your HDL should be more than 40 if you're a male and more than 50 if you're a female. Your triglyceride should be less than 150 and the blood pressure should be kept at less than 130/85. But if you have a positive urine, microalbumin, like we talked before, the blood pressure should be as low as 120/70. So the lower the blood pressure, the better you are. And one very common question, which is asked of me all the time, should I do a monitoring machine? Are monitoring devices good for me? And we are talking about this for pre-diabetes and diabetes, which I'll cover more in the next few slides. So there are two types of monitoring devices available. One is Dexcom and one is Freestyle. Both of them are very simple to use. You can literally just put them on your arm and they work for 10 to 14 days and they give you a minute by minute blood glucose control. And it is very important for people who even have pre-diabetes because what it tells you is what food is causing your glucose to go high. So if you look at the graph of the continuous glucose monitoring, this is what it looks like. You can have a green area, a yellow area, or a red area on the top left corner. So green means your sugar is under control, yellow means it's slightly high, and orange means it's very high. And that also shows up in the graph below. So you can see that this person has green half of the time, but clearly after meals, his glucose is going really high to 300. So food is clearly a problem, and it only has 45% of sugar under control. So if you want, as a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, you should have more than 80 to 90% glucose under control, which is 70 to 180. That is usually the goal we are talking when we are trying to have a controlled diabetes or sugar. But my biggest challenge and question for today is how do you prevent diabetes? I think prevention is much better than cure. So diet, exercise, diet, exercise, diet, exercise. That is the key to success. And I'm going to go through some diet principles very quickly because you will have a separate diabetes diet lecture. You want to maintain your BMI of 23 or below. You can actually use some drugs to prevent transition from pre-diabetes to frank diabetes. And metformin is one such drug because it reduces the risk of developing diabetes by almost 30%. While diet and exercise reduce the risk of diabetes by 60%. And now we have some newer drugs available like GLP-1, and they can also prevent diabetes. So let's focus on diet for the next 5 minutes. Diet is clearly our weakness. Rice is not a side dish, it is the dish. Our two biggest weaknesses are rice and sweets. And of course, just one more mithai. Healthy snacks, oh I bake samosas instead of fried. But it still has a lot of potatoes and fried maida. High salt namkeen is our weakness. And of course, chai mein sugar to honi zaruri. That's another weakness. So just a simple concept of diet. 1 gram of protein gives you 4 calories and the same thing is 1 gram of carb. But if you eat fat, 1 gram of fat gives you 9 calories. So why do you have to count carbs for being a diabetic? 55 to 65% of your calories come from carbohydrate. And carbohydrate is a quick source of increasing sugar, which is very important for day-to-day function. So there are really two types of carbs, simple and complex. Simple carbs are the refined carbs and they quickly increase your sugar, like your juices, mithai and sweets. Complex carbohydrates take time to digest, like pasta, potato, and if you do a whole grain pasta, it takes even longer time to digest. And 1 carb for all practical purposes is considered 15 grams of carb. So this is your daily carb should be with each meal. So if you are following a 1200 calorie diet,
Hello, are we done with the video?
time, you should have more than and fried maida. High salt namkeen is a weakness. And of course, chai mein sugar to honi zaruri. That's another weakness. So just a simple concept of diet. 1 gram of protein gives you 4 calories and the same thing is 1 gram of carb. But if you eat fat, 1 gram of fat gives you 9 calories. So why do you have to count carbs for being a diabetic? 55 to 65% of your calories come from carbohydrate. And carbohydrate is a quick source of increasing sugar, which is very important for day-to-day function. So there are really two types of carbs, simple and complex. Simple carbs are the refined carbs and they quickly increase your sugar, like your juices, mithai and sweets. Complex carbohydrates take time to digest, like pasta, potato, and if you do a whole grain pasta, it takes even longer time to digest. And 1 carb for all practical purpose is considered 15 grams of carbs. So this is your daily carb should be with each meal. So if you are following a 1200 calorie diet, these are the amount of carbs you would eat. So breakfast 2 carb meals, 15 plus 2, 15 times 2 is 30 grams of carbs and so on. And it's just an example of some carbohydrates. 1 teaspoon of sugar has 4 grams of carbs. 1 teaspoon of honey has 6 grams of carbs. A cooked white rice, 1 cup, is 45 grams of carbs. So that's equal to 3 carbs. So then you cannot have any other carb in your meal if you're eating 1 cup of rice. And the same thing with Coke. If you're drinking regular Coke, you suddenly consume 40 grams of carb in one setting. And you can look at the other. And I won't go into diet detail, although I can spend a full hour talking about diet. But there's a very nice book by Dr. Ashwini Wagle from California. And she has a book on Amazon available which talks about carbohydrate counting in traditional South Asian food diets. And we also have done a recent seminar on Indian diets, and here is the link available to you. And I'll be happy to send a copy of these slides as a PDF so you can look at the link, or you can go to brownheart.com and find all the education materials here. I won't move away though without talking a word about artificial sweeteners. So there's a lot of controversy on artificial sweeteners, and all my patients keep asking that they're bad for me. Should I take them or not? So let's talk about traditional artificial sweeteners, which are your Splenda, the Equal, the Sweet and Low. So there are two concerns which have been discussed. One concern is cancer. So cancer means these cause cancer. There's absolutely no data from multiple studies that artificial sweetener cause cancer. The other concern, of course, is diabetes, heart attack, and stroke. And there is new data coming out that in practical amounts, even if you take 2 to 3 packs a day, sometimes in small studies, there has been shown to be increased risk of diabetes and coronary artery disease. So this artificial sweeteners are called FDA, called them GRAS, which means they're generally recognized as safe. But then there are other sweeteners which are natural artificial sweeteners, and these are the stevia and the allulose of the type. And they absolutely have no data to show any increased risk of diabetes. So if you want to use a good artificial sweetener, use the stevia fluvia of the kind, and you will be completely safe. So let's move away from diet and exercise to plants and herbs in early stage of diabetes. We have come from a land of Ayurveda where the plants and herbs have been studied. Unfortunately, the studies are not in large amounts of population. These are small studies, and most of the data has come from animal studies than human studies. So there are close to 80 plants that you can use in early stage of diabetes or in pre-diabetes. So these are cinnamon bark, apple cider vinegar, aloe vera, buzzbean, karela, fenugreek seeds, jackfruit, and black cumin seeds. So there are multiple of those. What I wanted to point out was that you can clearly use any one of them when you are pre-diabetic or when you have very early stage of diabetes, like an A1C of 6.5. The two things to remember is number one, if you look at the amount utilized is a lot more than you think. So for apple cider vinegar, you have to drink 2 tablespoons in water before meals. And I did that, and it was very hard for me to even drink 1 cup of that. So it makes life difficult. Karela, you have to have 100 milligram of cooked karela every single day, or a 50 to 100 ml of karela juice. And again, I tried that too, and I found it very, very bitter for me. So blood glucose improvement by all of these are somewhere between 10 to 20 points, which is again talks about early stage of diabetes. Berberine has some good data that it works like metformin and it may drop the sugar 25 to 30 points. So yes, even though the studies are limited and small, you can use these herbs or plants along with diet and exercise in early stage of diabetes. But if your A1C is 9 or 10 or 8 or higher, I don't think that these medications are going to improve. Because to drop the A1C by 1 point, the drop has to be a minimum of 30 to 35 points. So you get the point. So then, if your A1C is very high, how do you treat diabetes with new drugs? So there are many old ones like glucophage, glitazones, and sulfonylurea. These are the Amaryl, the glucotrol, the glitazone is actose. Actose causes weight gain, sulfonylurea causes weight gain, but glucophage can cause weight loss, and it decreases glucose formation from the body. And then there are new drugs, which I'm going to focus a little bit more. The GLP-1, like Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, and Rituxan. They decrease your blood sugar after food, and they are approved both for diabetic and for non-diabetic patients. Then you have the Januvia, the Progesta. They also decrease the sugar after eating, but they do not cause much weight loss. And then we have the third class, which is Jardiance, Farxiga. They work on the kidney to improve blood sugar. So we have a lot of good drugs which are now available, which will help you control your diabetes in a good way. So where do these drugs work? So this slide just shows you different places which I just talked about. So like I told you, your liver glucose has increased in diabetes. Metformin decreases that. Your body, the pancreas, does not make enough insulin, even in type 2 diabetics, and glipizide works there. Then you have SGLT inhibitor like Farxiga, which work on the kidney. Normally, kidney absorbs all the glucose. When you eat something, your glucose goes in the kidney. So if kidney does not absorb that glucose, you'll be peeing out all that glucose. But SGLT inhibitor stop that glucose from getting absorbed, and they get more glucose into the urine and improve diabetes. And then you have the drugs called as incretin, which is a normal compound produced from the intestine, and it increases the gastric empty quickly. And it also has other effects on the pancreas. So the drug like GLP-1 act on those and improve the rapid gastric empty and also increase insulin from the pancreas after you eat something. And then finally, actose or glitazones, they improve insulin resistance and increase glucose uptake into the muscle, and that's how they improve that. So let's talk the new ones on SGLT inhibitor. These like Farxiga and Invokana and Jardiance, they're great drugs to improve heart disease. The safety data for these drugs is available now up to 10 years. And overall, there's a decrease in A1C between 0.7 to 1.2 points. The good part is they cause weight loss. But because they pee a lot of glucose into the urine, you can have increased risk of UTI and yeast infection. But it's only in 1 out of 10 people, so not everybody will get that. And because they are also causing the fluid loss, you can also get a little low blood pressure, especially if you are elderly. So it's great in patients with kidney disease. It actually improves kidney function and has a great data for improving heart disease as well. And you must drink lots of water when you're taking these drugs. Then the GLP-1 agonists, and everybody on earth now knows about them. They were the daily kind and now the weekly kind. And we now use mainly weekly ones, which are the Ozempic, the Wegovy, the Trulicity, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. You hear about these names every single day on television. And the good part is they are now approved both for diabetes as well as weight loss. So you can even use it without diabetes, you can use it for pre-diabetes, and you can use it for obesity. So how do they work? They work with blood sugar control. They help the pancreas release more insulin than needed, and that lowers the blood sugar in people with diabetes. But their biggest impact is on weight loss. They cause significant weight loss, up to 20%. So people can lose up to 30, 40, 50 pounds because you feel full, you feel full sooner, and you stay not hungry for long duration of time. But the biggest impact of GLP-1 is the heart health. The studies have shown that these medications reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and death due to cardiovascular disease in high-risk patients. And they also cause food noise reduction, which means when you take these drugs, you don't have thoughts about food and hunger, so you eat much less. Heart disease is the most important. This is directly data from Cleveland Clinic, and it showed that there was 15% lower risk of heart failure, and there was 12% reduced risk of heart attack. There's 37% reduced risk of cardiac arrest, which is the #1 cause of death in South Asians. And the GLP group also had a 41% reduced risk of dying from all causes. So these are wonderful drugs when it comes to heart safety. And they also decrease the risk of kidney disease. They decrease the risk of fatty liver. They promise early data now is coming out on Alzheimer's disease, although these clinical studies are very, very small, and we're going to look forward to more studies. They improve mobility and brain pain because you're losing weight, and they also improve sleep apnea because you're fasting. So the only side effect is, of course, nausea, vomiting, weight loss, headaches because of low blood sugar. And of course, if you do very quick weight loss, you will lose the muscle, especially if you do not have enough protein in your diet. They cannot be used with severe pancreatitis or family history of pancreatic cancer. And if you have a lot of thyroid nodules, please get them evaluated before you start these drugs. Just a word about new insulins, because we want to make sure that some of you who are on insulin need to know what's going on. What is new in this field? So Lantus and Tresiba are great insulins now. They are long acting, so they last for 24 to 36 hours. So they do not cause low blood sugar as much as the other insulin. And then we have very quick insulin, Novolog, Humalog, Apitra, Fire, and they work very quickly, within 15 minutes. And now we have smart pens, And they can calculate your insulin, especially if you're taking it, according to your carbohydrate. So you count your carbs and the pen will give you the appropriate amount of insulin. And of course, there's a full lecture I can do on insulin pumps. There are many types of insulin pumps which are now available where you are combining that with a glucose monitoring technique. So it's almost working like an artificial pancreas. So you put these pumps on you get the blood sugar from the continuous glucose monitor, which we talked before, and then it gives a signal to the pump to give the insulin. So again, I think these are remarkable adventures and discoveries which have happened in the diabetes field, which have made diabetes management much easier. So at the end, I will talk a little bit about key things to remember. You should get tested for diabetes. Definitely change your lifestyle today because you can prevent diabetes. Prevention is much better than cure. Try to maintain a BMI of less than 1 to 3 if possible. Remember the ABC of diabetes. The A is A1C of less than 7 or 6.5, but lower the better in early stages. The blood pressure maintaining less than 135 of over 85. And cholesterol with an LDL of less than 70 and a triglyceride of less than 150. And remember, diet and exercise is still the key, but we do have a lot of new drugs available which can help control the diabetes. In early stages, you should try to use diet, exercise, and plant and herb preparations if you can. And in late stages, you need to use medications to control diabetes. And finally, we have created a documentary, The Brown Heart, which my husband is going to talk more about. It's available on YouTube. It talks about all the risk factors for getting heart attacks. We also have an AI-powered chatbot, which is an AI-powered tool where you can go to any part of the documentary by typing any question. We also have a Brown Heart WhatsApp community where we talk about these important topics all the time. And we also have a Brown Heart app that you can download, and the links are all available here. I will stop here and will answer any questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how do you guys like the video? I know, very informative. See, Dr. Renu Joshi, even though she's going through a tough time, she still made a point to send us the video, and it speaks volume about her commitment and unwavering support towards the family, the community, towards diabetic awareness. Really appreciate that. Let's send them condolences and prayers for their whole family. They're going through tough time. And I hope you have picked up some pearls. You know, what resonated with me is the apple shape and the pear shaped body. Most of us walk around of a certain age with that, you know, apple shape and pear shape. So if you have to choose, probably pear shape. So it's not good to have fat at all, of course. It's a consistent effort to lose it. But in case you have to have it, prefer it on your butt. It's not going to affect your diabetes. Just kidding. Any fat is bad, but still, you know, sometimes we can't help it. That's what I was laughing when I was watching the video. And another thing is, you know, all the herbs she mentioned, we all have it lying in our pantry, doing nothing sometimes, right? When we don't when we don't cook or when we have a silent kitchen. So it's better to use that. And that's the small pearl. If you take it, I think it will be a great change. So we're really grateful for Dr. Renu Joshi. So now we are going to move on to quantum wellness, energy and resonance. So we have Vandana Sahi. She's a quantum energy expert. She has 30 plus years of experience. So she's going to align your chakras, balance your emotions, and calm your mind all at once before you even finish a cup of chai. So she blends science and spirituality, and she will explain how emotional health, how emotional stress can affect your health. So now let's welcome the women who can balance, who can fix energy imbalances faster than an electrician. Give her a big round of applause, please.
Hello everyone, thank you. How are we feeling? Sleepy? Let me bring a new dimension to the discussion today. So I am a quantum healing expert. I started about 30 years ago exploring energy, and I have explored a lot, I have learned a lot. But today what I bring to you is the understanding that we do not see ourselves beyond the physical. We hardly think of our emotional selves and our mental selves. We are in such a mode of performance all the time that we forget what we carry in our quantum field. You forget to see that this is how you are actually. When you walk in, this is your aura, this is your energy field, and this is who you truly are. But we actually look at yourself in the mirror, this is what you see and this is what you believe you are. So can we go on to the next slide? Just a quick one about how I function, what I do. My work sits at the meeting point of energy, consciousness, and biology. Because we forget that what we think, what we feel has such a big impact in our body, and that we are a quantum field. We have energy centers within the body, outside the body, and you have a physical layer that you can see in the mirror, but beyond you is the emotional layer. There is a mental layer, there is a spiritual layer, and we forget that these are all very interconnected energetically. Can we go on to the next slide, please? So the body is an energy system. Appears physically in your body, it has been there for a very, very long time. It started as a trigger because of some emotional response, because of a mental experience, of a memory, of something that triggered it off. So every cell communicates through electrical, magnetic, and biochemical signals, forming an intricate network of energetic exchange. Like a lot of everything in the world is energy, everything is connected through energy fields. This space itself currently is a quantum field on its own. But we are all interconnected through our own energy fields. And we are communicating, right? Similarly, the cells in the body communicate exactly in the same way. And when we are not in coherence, there is dissonance in the field. So when the heart and brain frequencies demonstrate coherence, when the system is balanced, it creates harmonious biological rhythms. And when the heart and mind are not in coherence, there is dissonance in the field and it starts to reflect in the body, in your field. The energetic disruption through stress, through chronic pressure and emotional overload disrupts energetic communication, breaking down the body's natural harmony. So though we say, we talk a lot of lifestyle, we say we should exercise, we should do all that, that is good. But remember that your disease started long, long ago. So you have to also try and understand how your emotions, how your thoughts over the years have impacted. So when communication breaks down, the body moves towards dysregulation and becomes the foundation for disease. The disease manifests much, much later in your physical body. It would have started ages ago. This regulation becomes the foundation for metabolic imbalance. When your heart and mind are not in balance, it starts to show. It's just little things in your body that starts to, it's feeling a little uncomfortable, but we tend to ignore. Because we are always in this mode of performing, of doing things, we have so many chores, we have so many things to deliver, so many responsibilities. We forget ourselves. But listen to the body at all times. Whenever you feel a little off emotionally, it is important to stop. It is important to start and just kind of listen to your body and think within why. Why are you feeling that? Was there a trigger today in the day? In maybe an interaction at home, at work, or just stress because you have so many things to deliver. So you have to start to listen to yourself internally. That's the last thing we actually do. We always believe that we never keep ourselves I would say we don't give ourselves enough importance. We may give ourselves importance through our exercise, but emotionally, how much do we bother about ourselves, about our own emotional needs, about our own mental needs? We are givers. We hardly know how to receive. So let me give you a little bit of a context of the chakras that you brought in. So we have 7 chakras in the body, and each chakra holds a certain kind of, it has its own importance. So we are all South Asians, Indians, we should know this, but I will still kind of explain this to you. So we have 7 chakras in the body. We have a root chakra right at the bottom of the spine. This holds the key to you feeling safe. Okay? So if we know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have our own needs as human beings. So the root chakra is where the emotions of feeling safe are. So when you're born, you need mother's love. You need mother's love to make you feel safe, right? So that kind of safety and security, mother's love, food, shelter, security, these are basic things that we need to exist. So if your root chakra is blocked, it could be basically when you have not felt safe, when you have not felt secure and abundant. Abundance also is not linked to only money. Abundance also is linked to your relationships, to how you feel abundant at all times. Opportunities, relationship, money, all of it is abundance. So when you are constricted there, you have problems in these areas. So this is the first thing that you need when you are actually just living as a human. And the moment you are feeling safe, secure, you want some food, shelter, after that you want to do something in life, right? Then comes the sacral chakra, which is right here. It is all about self-worth. So when we don't feel worthy is when this chakra is blocked. And all of these are actually all related to your own experiences. Sometimes they are from childhood, sometimes they are later in life, but all your experiences, emotions, memories are stored in your quantum field and they go and block some of the other chakra. Okay? So we have the root, we have the self-worth here in the sacral, or your belly button. Then you come to the solar plexus, which is the seat of self-confidence, seat of your personal power. So when you go out in the world, a lot of us know many things, but are we confident enough to talk or confident enough to express ourselves? So when that kind of a problem happens, this is blocked. And then we come to the heart. This is all about love. And listen, love first comes, love is with yourself. So when you accept yourself unconditionally, when you take yourself as just as who you are at that point in life, then there is unconditional acceptance of yourself and you're able to receive love and give love. Now this is something that we hardly talk of because we are givers, we don't know how to receive. Okay? But when this is in balance, this heart chakra is good. And as I'm talking, let me also tell you that the organs in every part of your body are related to those particular chakras. So when the heart chakra is blocked, you also have problems in your heart, right? Because it goes and disrupts the electromagnetic field of your heart. So this is the heart chakra, this is that, and you're only talking of the right thing that you need to talk of. You're worried that if you speak the truth, people will judge you. So you don't, right? So when you have clarity here, you're able to see things in a particular situation in the right way. And then you're able to take decisions accordingly. And then comes the crown. This is all about connection to your higher self or the spiritual self. I just wanted to give that as a context so that you start to understand that the cells communicate, the energy centers communicate, and they also then, so these kind of emotions have a reflection in your quantum field and they end up turning into disease over a long time. So these emotions, I've just given you a very simple sample because when you go deep in there are so many experiences one can talk of. But that's how disease starts to show up in your body. Can we go to the next? So how energy imbalance becomes disease? Continuous stress keeps the body in survival mode. How many of us are in survival mode? Do we even know that we are in survival mode? You don't think of yourself like that, right? But in modern world, it is all about it lowers the heart rate variability, preventing natural healing process. Now understand this bit. I just gave you an example. Every day of our lives is based on running, achieving. We are not stopping, we are not slowing, we are not listening to ourselves. So the body or the cellular communication in your body constantly in this contracted state. It never feels comfortable. So if the cell is contracting, you are tight. Listen to your body if you see how good do you feel. It feels tight, right? It feels tight most of the time. And that's how the cell becomes over a very, very long time. And it is a contracted frequency state, bringing to you frequencies, a discussion of frequency and vibration as well. Every emotion has a frequency. Every emotion. So fear has an emotion, has a frequency of its own, which will be low, grief, survival, and the moment you move into gratitude, joy and love, these are very high frequency states. And so these emotions, if you try and drive that to yourself, it switches the frequency of the cellular communication, the vibration of the cellular communication. But we don't even realize because we are at all times in those kind of modes. Fear, so much fear in our life, and especially as immigrants, we are always in some sort of fear because you're not feeling safe, you're not in your home zone, I would say. Hardly. There is some pressure or the other. There is grief at all times and anger, which we subdue. And when you subdue your anger, it goes and stays in your body. It does get stored in some cell, some organ of the body. And that's what starts to show up later. And it starts to show up as inflammation, as it raises the nervous system. It remains hyperactive, unable to return to its baseline. And over time, this frequency mismatch expresses physically through multiple pathways. So the thing is, to understand that you are in a lower emotional state, most of the day, you're thinking, you're doing your work, but you're thinking, you're not feeling good, and it starts to reflect, and it stays on. Let's say we have a scenario in our personal front, which makes you feel bad, okay? And if it stays on for a long period, then it stays in your body, stores as trauma in your body. Then it raises the inflammation in your body. And when that starts to stay, your baseline is that. Your baseline is not a nice one. So you have to remember, you have to reflect and see what is your baseline like. Are you, if you're a happy individual, you will go back to a normal, happy baseline quickly. You have an ability to go back. But if your tendencies aren't one to go back, you focus more on negativity or are worried more, then your baseline over a period of time becomes the other kind, which is not healthy. And this starts to mismatch and starts to express in your body as disease. Sometimes it starts small. Diabetes, for example, yes, I don't have that slide today, but yesterday we talked that pancreas are a reflection of the feeling of being supported. How many of us feel supported through the day, right? We don't, because we think we have to do it all, we have so many things to do, our home front, office front, children, all our duties, finances. So, you never feel supported. You feel you have to do it and you have to do it for a long, long time. You have to deliver. So over a period, you continue and you start to feel. and returning to resonance and coherence. When we restore coherence, biology recalibrates. What did I say of the baselines? So if you go back to feeling good, and so let's say we have, a whole day, if 80% of the time you have been feeling bad, low, sick, tired, worried, then your baseline is that you're incoherent in your field. The heart's electromagnetic field extends several feet beyond the body. I don't have the number here, I should have had it, but it's as powerful. Before you walk in, your heart's electromagnetic field, kind of walks before you. Your aura walks much before you. So, it guides the body's rhythm and influences every cell. When we achieve coherent states, remarkable physiological improvements occur naturally. How do we do glucose regulation? Enhance cellular communication, improves insulin sensitivity and metabolic function. It's very simple. When your heart and mind are in coherence, the cells listen. The cells receive those signals and they go back to a state of balance or coherence. The blood pressure, normalizes with vascular tone. I think we skipped something, is it, before this? Can we just go back to the previous slide? So these are the 4 things that I wanted to kind of come to. So how does poor glucose metabolism happen? It happens because energetic imbalance creates metabolic dysfunction and cellular confusion. The cells are confused, there is dysfunction when you are not feeling good, and it turns into poor glucose metabolism, which in turn now disrupts cellular signaling, impairing glucose uptake and metabolism. So it's like adding up one to the other. And then it results in high blood pressure because there is chronic stress in your body. And that elevates the vascular tension and cardiac strain. So it's all interconnected. The cellular communication is all interconnected and adds up to cardiac strain later. And it becomes, over a period of time, it weakens your cardiovascular resilience. Let's go to the next slide. So, there was one more before this? Yeah. So basically, what are simple things that you can do? Things like breath work. We know a lot of pranayama you must be doing, you must be knowing. So that is very important. Spending at least 15-20 minutes every day in some sort of a good breath work at least starts to bring the cells into some sort of normal function. And then grounding practices, which is basically like connecting with nature. Remember, we are wearing shoes and we are in all these kind of floors which are not really good conductors of electromagnetic. We have to be connected to the electrical grid of the earth. The body has its own electromagnetic field, the earth has its own. When you are connected very well, you are grounded. A lot of the disease happens in the modern life because we are wearing these shoes and we are never connected to earth. So walking barefoot helps restore that electromagnetic frequency or field in your body. It's very important. And mindful awareness of watching out for your emotions, of listening to your body, to watching how you have been feeling through the day. Make those notes. It's so important. And I teach my clients how to get into the mode of gratitude. It's a very simple exercise, a pillow kind of exercise that you can do every night. Whether you write or you think, do whatever you can. But before you go to bed, think of 5 things that you need to be grateful for. And don't just think it. Allow yourself to feel that gratitude from your heart. When you start, for example, if your children have done well today, you have good children, they give you the love, or whatever, your wife is, or your partner is good, you're grateful for that, right? So before you go to bed, just think of 5 simple things in your life that you need to be grateful about. And that will change the frequency in your body. As you go to bed, it will heal. It will start to readjust in the night. Instead, if you go to bed in the night worrying or thinking of all negative things in your life, that's what you're telling your body. So it's our responsibility to listen to our emotions and thoughts, which in turn reflect in our body and in our quantum field. So it's so important to do that. Shift the system from survival frequency to healing frequency. And you can do that with emotions. Feeling joy, feeling grateful, feeling love. If you have pets, they are the best thing because they give you unconditional love. So spend some time with your pets as well. They give you that frequency that sometimes in our own relationships we don't get because there is no much of condition of expectation in all rishta nata that we have. So those rishtas are very simple rishtas, I would say. Do that. Just the last line here, emotional regulation is not just psychological, it is deeply physiological, influencing every system in the body. Remember that. Let's go to this. So quick one here, what are the everyday applications? Mindful presence, eating good food, connecting with nature, and engage in conscious movement so that you're readjusting your field. Walking, yoga, tai chi, they help energy flow. These are good things. Then we go back, if there's anything. Okay, and just to let you know, I run a lot of workshops and retreats. I teach people come home to themselves, to remember themselves energetically. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandanaji. That was so simple. You made it so simple for us, practical for us to understand. We really appreciate you. So how do you feel? Do you all feel balanced now? I hope you guys are paying attention to your thoughts. Usually we don't do that. We are so busy giving. Go there, go. But we don't have time for ourselves. And what she said, pay attention to the thoughts, which of course I'm going to realign myself to do that. These are the simple practical things we know but we don't do it. We are from India, we know the ancient wisdom, but we don't do it because we are too busy buying jewelries, looking good, attending the parties, isn't it? So thank you, Vandana, that was really awesome. I think you should give your business cards to, if you have, or maybe share your, you guys can take the contact information. Do you have your email information there? That'll be great. I would workshop because this topic fascinates me all the time. Like pay attention to thoughts, but we get so busy. We have to get back to that every day. Remind ourselves. So I think that was a great call you gave us. I appreciate. So now, can we give her a big round of applause? How can we forget that? Thank you. Now we have Dr. Hema Kumar. She's a leading ophthalmologist. Now, she's so good at retina. She has studied so much about retina. Even retina listens to her. And if she looks at your eyes, she will know your whole life history. So, I don't know if you really want her to look at your eyes today. If you are prepared, then maybe you can. All right, let's welcome Dr. Hema Kumar.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to Gopio for putting together this wonderful event. I'm Hema Ramkumar, and I'm a retina specialist practicing here in Orange County and also Los Angeles. And so, of course, if we can prevent diabetes through chakras, you'll hear about it, and you know. But the amazing thing about retinopathy is that it's reversible. Okay, so nowadays we have approved medication that can reverse it, and even if you have late-stage retinopathy, that can be treated surgically. So I'm going to start with the last point first. That's the take-home, but I will share with you a little bit about how diabetes affects the eyes. So it is mostly affecting the eyes when the A1C is above 7.5. If you're 7.2, sometimes you always are hard on yourself. You need to get better and better, not to protect your eyes. Up to 7.5 is very low risk. So give yourself a break this Christmas if that's where the A1C is. Let's go to the next. So if you look on the right side, diabetic retinopathy has many different manifestations in the eyes. It can cause bleeding, pressure, cataract, dry eye. This is a very common problem. It's actually the leading cause of disability from vision in working age population. Diabetic retinopathy. So nothing has been the most common cause of difficulty. The important thing now that you know there is treatment is to get checked. But vision impairment. The bloods are not tubes, right? They're not anything that's solid. They're reactive. They're part of your body. They should remain sealed at all times. But the sugar in the blood sticks to the parts that keep the blood vessels together, causing some small holes and fenestrations. So those, what looks like something that's a sticky glue, that's what is gone. So the blood vessels become leaky. Instead of blood going in the pipe, it leaks through the pipe. And that's the basic of why you have retinopathy. Next. I know I said a lot of things, right? But don't worry, I'll break it up into the next take-home points. There are certain treatments if you have retinopathy, and they're varied. And for each patient, every time I do a different treatment, because each treatment has pros and cons. You have medicines that immediately reverse the disease and stabilize and improve vision. But medicines don't last forever. You have to keep delivering them. So it's good that we have them, we use them, but if we want a permanent reversal and long-term disease control, we offer laser treatment for that. Okay, so that's when we do laser. We offer surgery when the eye is full of blood or scar tissue, and that can be cleared very safely and effectively. Okay. So this is a problem that's not going anywhere because sugar is not going anywhere and our appetites are only increasing, right? Luckily, we hope that with all these GLP-1 agonists, that there'll be a reduction in diabetes over time, but of course that has to be more widely adopted and access has to increase for that to happen. So for now, the population of people getting diabetes is going up, and of those people, we're talking about millions of people with diabetic edema and swelling. So just in the US alone, we have almost 1 million people with swelling in the center vision. And so that is why it's something that should be checked and treated early. Because when there's just swelling, we can get rid of it. But if it turns into water damage, that cannot be fixed. So you can treat and get rid of the swelling, even the late stage, but vision doesn't come back unless we treat before the water damage of the blood and the fluid causes a permanent impairment. So again, screen, diagnose, get the treatments. If you know anybody who's getting or had injections before for diabetic swelling, you're concerned about going back because of pain or discomfort or the medicine didn't work and you haven't gone back in years, talk to your doctor, come back, because there are many new treatments now. There's some treatments that last years and years even, and many that last 6 months. So a couple treatments is definitely better than letting it go to the point where we can't get vision back. Let's go next. So when you have macular edema, it can be very confusing. You feel like you need a new pair of reading glasses. The problem is these blurred spots in the vision. It's like a smudge in the glasses. You try to clean them, then you try to get new readers or get a different prescription. It's subtle. So this is why you may have symptom of it or you may not. But if glasses are not helping you see clearly, then get to the exam. If you see the picture on the left, it looks like a mountain. That is where the swelling is in the center vision. And the picture on the right is a valley. That's what it should look like. So after just one treatment with one of these new medications, it goes to a normal structure and a normal vision. You can go next. But usually it takes more than one. So on the top, I have a list of all the different medicines that we have to treat swelling that are of one class, and on the bottom, anti-inflammatory steroids. So we have many different medicines is the bottom line. Sometimes people get disheartened or give up. If the first medicine they tried didn't work, they say, okay, these treatments don't work for me, and they don't go back. Well, if not every medicine, just like every blood pressure or blood sugar medicine doesn't work for you, right? It's everybody, every one of us is different. But because it's such a common condition, we have many different medicines. I would say keep at it, go back, find the medicine that works for you. Let's go to the next. So earlier, now we have cool, sexy treatments compared to what we had before of just laser cautery. These little implants can last up to 3 years. We can go next. And now even these medicines have gone generic, and that will help to increase access and reduce cost. And so this medicine is now Eylea HD, the newest, hottest one, which is every 6-month treatment in many patients. Now, if the diabetes goes from the non-proliferative stage to proliferative stage, patients see what look like blood clots or black dots like this on the right side, like pepper in the vision. It can start off as just a little pepper and then it goes away, then it comes back, goes away. So if it goes away, we don't need to worry, right? No. If it comes, if you get this pepper in the vision, there's something bleeding, something that's about to cause a big leak. So if you have new floaters and it keeps coming, that's a sign you need to get an eye exam. So we still have the old gold treatment, which is the laser treatment. That makes patients not dependent and need injections all the time, and we still use that. And that can provide clear vision. And so we, for a very, very long time, we've had treatment to remove this type of scar tissue on the retina, but earlier the better, because scar tissue can damage the retina irreversibly, but it can be removed before the damage happens. So that's something we need to find and see, and it can be addressed. And so this is just a screenshot of one of my surgeries where you can see most of the picture is blood. But there's what looked like a metal rod. That's the ultrasound that I used to cut the blood out. So you can see there becomes a clear view in the middle. So this is what we do. If the eyes fill with blood, we can remove the blood. And then we can do permanent laser treatments to help restore the vision. So in summary, we have cutting-edge diagnostic screening tests. Now many patients are getting the AI photographs at their primary care doctor or endocrine doctor, and it says you may have retinopathy. The purpose of this talk was that you don't be scared if you get that and not go in. Even if you have retinopathy, it's okay as long as you take care of it. Okay, and so I would encourage you to get your screening tests, and if anybody says that you do have retinopathy or have some problem in the retina, don't hesitate to give me a call. I'd love to see you and take care of you, and I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Hema. Now we are blinking extra carefully, right? And I even noticed some of them were checking their eyesight quietly and secretly during the speech. To understand it so confidently, we really appreciate. Please give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Now we have the diabetic superhero. Do you know who he is? He is the man who has designed a program which helps you to manage the diabetes itself without any effort from the patient. Yes, you heard it right, with no effort. So he has a glucometer which uploads all the information, and it really helps diabetic patient. You know, if he could only come with a program which could pay my bills, run my errands, do laundry, I would retire comfortably and nominate him for a president. Please welcome the man who makes diabetes behave better than your teenager. What do you say?
That's a tall order.
Yes, Mr. Dinesh Kulkarni.
Hello, namaste. It's a pleasure to be here. So the company I am with is, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how we are trying to break through in disease management, especially diabetes and metabolic disorders. Next. So my name is Dinesh Kulkarni, and I am the Director of Corporate Development. And a little bit about me. About 7 years ago, I came up with a program where we could use data to get and develop more insight into how we are in terms of patient management. Because I think one of the biggest gaps in healthcare is we have data living in separate silos. And what I was able to do was extract data and put it into a consolidated picture where the provider and the patients could get a comprehensive history of their disease progression, as well as identifying other gaps of care. So we are here, that's basically what we want to do is help you take control of your own disease. Because I think, as we were discussing before, that it's quite complex. And then just listening to Dr. Joshi speak, it was quite a handful in terms of there are so many things that there are that it is hard to put our arms around that, because disease is complicated and there are many contributing factors which we do not have a good understanding of, and so that's where we're trying to help people manage their diseases. So the truth about diabetes and in our community, for our community, this is not an easy task because of several factors. That is, one, there's a genetic predisposition for diabetes. And then one of the other things too is, compared to the general white population, yes, we have our diseases showing up about 10 to 15 years earlier than the rest of the population. And then plus, I think one of the other things too is a lot of us have migrated to white-collar jobs, and as a result, our stress levels are astronomical. And that also plays an important aspect of our disease management, or our lack of disease management. And please do understand, this is not a personal failure, but it is more a way of us trying to deal with our diseases, especially diabetes. Next. So one of the things that we have is that it's very hard to manage, because your doctors and your family, of course, care about you, but they cannot check on you every single day. Because as you can see, some days you feel better, some days you feel worse. And then what we want to do is be able to consolidate that information to help you on your path. Because one of the things that we have seen is a typical a person with diabetes, a lot of times they have multiple other conditions such as hypertension and a host of other disease conditions. So a lot of times they're being seen by multiple providers. There's the primary, there's a cardiologist, there's a endocrinologist, there's an ophthalmologist. So you have a whole bunch of other people involved in the care continuum. And as a result, you have people giving different advice and different care protocols. And a lot of times what happens is you get confused in just the sheer volume of data that's coming through. And then sometimes what ends up happening is, that's what we call like gaps in care. So here we can talk about more in gaps in care. What is gap in care? So care gaps is basically what we can define as a delta or a difference between what your physician has recommended and then what the patient actually is taking care of. So, and then one of the other things too is up to 50% of Medicare patients experience such gaps. And about 50% of them do not adhere to their medication. There are gaps in their medication. So this is just one example of that. And some of the top sources of care gaps is fragmented care. So what is fragmented care? That is people seeing multiple specialists. And then there, say for example, if the cardiologist makes a change in their medication, and then that's not followed through by the primary care, and as a result, sometimes there may be a mismatch in the dosage. And then there's also social determinants of health, such as what is social determinants of health? That is, there's a gap between what the provider is saying and your ability to understand what's being said, and you understanding that. And there's, of course, there's self-literacy and patient engagement. A simple thing would be, I have no idea how much medications I need to take. I don't know when to take the medications. Should I take it twice a day or should I take it 3 times a day? I have no idea, right? That's typical for a lot of patients. And then there's also data and documentation failures That is, say for example, if you have seen a physician or you've seen, let's say you have had a flu shot at your Rite Aid, and then but there's no documentation of that one would be a data documentation failure, and that's also a care gap because when you talk to your physician, a lot of times they may say, oh, you know, I have not had your flu shots, but guess what? You have had your flu shots. So that's where we can come to the next one. So that's where we come in, as we're able to gather the data from multiple sources. And one of the things that we do is we we bring in a blend of data as well as we match it with a person from the community. So what is it, my importance of matching a person from the community? That is, we work to help you understand, or our staff works to understand you a lot better. Because for a lot of us who are vegetarian, one of the things from the general dietitians, our physicians, they say is, oh, why don't you eat salad? It's great, right? Come on, folks, how many of us really enjoy eating salad, right? So I think that's part of the gaps that we do see. Because it's important for example, when we say, okay, you need to have a certain diet, but it's important for them to understand something in the cultural context. So for example, when they say you need to have a balanced meal, but how does that affect it when we're talking about Indians? And then within Indians, there may be different types of Indians, different communities, and each community has a different set of diet preferences. For example, in Jains, you don't eat certain things. You don't eat certain root vegetables. And so there are some dietary restrictions. There are some cultural gaps that needs to be addressed. And so that's why we typically get people from the community who are part of our health coaching network. So these people will be there to help the individual navigate to stabilize their conditions too. And so what we have done, does it work? Absolutely. We have worked with thousands of people, and some of them have lowered their average A1C by 1.7 points, as well as dropping their blood pressure by over 17 points. And I think one of the most important things is the drop in ER visits by about 28%. So what does that mean to you? That is more peace of mind. When you don't go into the ER, it costs you a lot less. You don't have any expensive co-pays or anything like that that you need to deal with. So as a result, it's a plus, it's a win-win for everyone. So how does it work? It's very simple to engage with. So basically, your physician refers you to Starlight, and then it's going to be a soft handover in terms of the Starlight coach basically calls you or texts you right away. And then you receive a simple connected blood glucometer. And one of the things beauty about this one is once you take a test, the readings are automatically uploaded to the cloud. And then once it's uploaded to the cloud, it's shared with your physician and as well as your care navigator. So for example, if one day you go, this sugar level spikes up, you're going to get an immediate call from our care navigator or a health coach as to saying what's happening. It's not an automatic call, but we're just going to set some parameters as far as saying, okay, if it goes beyond a certain level, then we'll call you. Because the advantage of that is, say for example, you don't want to call every day, but say for example let's say you had some jalebis or something like that, and then you kind of went up and said, yeah, okay, I understand that. But then again, if it is like Deepavali, and then you see a sugar level going up, yeah, you're not going to get a call right away because the health coach themselves know that, yeah, it's a festive season, and most likely you kind of went and indulged yourself. Nothing wrong with that at certain times. And so how much does it cost? Basically, it does not cost you anything. It's covered by insurance. And so there are no hidden charges. So basically, you just need to ask your physician to sign up with Starlight. That's all I have. Short and sweet.
Thank you, Dinesh. Your presentation about diabetic management was so simple. Even my watch is calculating my blood sugar level now. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you all for being such great audience. Now we have our last presenter, Ms. Yatri Shukla. She is a food specialist, scientist, professor, and she's finally here. And we are very pleased to have her here. She knows food better than food knows itself, right? And she's going to teach you how to label. No, how to read labels, not how to label people. Remember that. Right? She's going to show us why ingredients are more important to maintain our health. And if supermarket had a queen, probably she would be the one. She knows so much about food. Now she's going to talk about that. Please give her a big round of applause.
She's making me sound better than I am, and I'm not a queen. I'm just a good chef, I guess, a health chef. So first of all, I want you to know that I have a degree in food science, and I learned it as a passion, not to go and get a degree. I wasn't planning on getting a degree because I wanted to learn about food and to be able to take care of my family. Since my mom and grandma were not here to help me guide, I had to learn it myself. So I said, I'm just going to sign up for these classes and learn and be a good person as a family caretaker. And once I started learning a lot, and finally the professor says, at some point you need to sign up this paper that says you're getting a degree because you are way ahead. You need to just do a paper that says, you are finally going to get a piece of paper. So that's not it, but I want you to know that I worked as a food scientist. I moved up from technologist to scientist to senior technologist to senior scientist to being a food manager. Worked at big companies that you probably know are Altadena Dairy, Ready Pack Salad, and I was in the charge of the salad company's fruit division. And I have signature products on market. A few of them have been modified, so my signature is gone, but I do have signature products on market. Next slide, please. So I want you to know what are millets. Millets are grass seeds. So when people say you should eat millets, you are eating bird food. We buy the most expensive food and give it to birds. That is millets. Significance, now we know how to grow rice. Does anybody know how rice is grown? Well, you plant it, when it grows a little bit, then you take it and put it in swamp water and retransplant. And then when it grows, it takes so much water. So rice is good, but we've been eating, wheat is good, we've been eating many years. But I'm still going to talk about millets. Decline and revival. A lot of superfoods have been identified as more research comes out, and now we know that millet is a superfood. And if you remember when we had the G20 summit in India, Narendra Modi made sure that everybody who came to India, all the G20 leaders came to India, they were fed millets. If you don't know, look it up, you'll find out. Traditional uses, I know Dinesh said that we are all coming from different backgrounds, we have different dietary habits, we might be eating roti versus dosa, different poha, we eat different things. But millets can be eaten in place of whatever you are eating. So you don't have to think too much. Basically, find puffed millets, find things, kuttu or ragi ka powder milta hai, ragi is good, bajra, jowar, things that you know, I'm saying those names. But other millets, today I have actually prepared foxtail millet khichdi, which will pretty much like a prasad. I think with the number of people we are here, you'll be able to get a little bit more than a prasad because I made plenty. And if you mix it with, if you try to be creative with your millets, you can mix it with your legumes or beans or dal, and it can become a good source of food. So you don't have to think too much. Next slide, please. So nutritional benefit, millets, I already said it's a seed. So whenever there is a seed, there is a husk on the outside. That husk is the fiber. You want that fiber. When you are eating apple and you're peeling off the skin, maybe in America, because of the pesticides, you want to peel it off, that's a good thing. But if you wash your apple, soak it in baking soda water, and then let it sit there, then without peeling, if you eat the apple, there is more fiber, right? So fiber is good for you, and millets have a lot of fiber in it. Rich in nutrients, it is a good source of protein. It has all the minerals that your body needs, and it's really good for you because it's also antioxidant. You know, a lot of people say eat your blueberries and raspberries and things so that we can get antioxidant. It's good to eat healthy things, but I'm just trying to get back to your khane ki thali, dinner plate, lunch plate. How are you going to modify? I'm not saying stop eating. I even tell people who are diabetic, if they ask me, since you're a food scientist, I said, I'm not a nutritionist. And they said, no, but can you tell me if I have diabetes, what am I supposed to do if I really love gulab jambu and I'm one of them? So eat it before 12 o'clock. Eat it before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't overdo it. Have a taste of it. If you are a chocolate person, eat it before 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Don't eat it in the afternoon, evening, because then it stays in your body, right? So if you're walking around, all of that, your sugar will be digested. So you want to eat sugar in the early hours. Also, millets have anti-inflammatory effect. Whenever you eat, I'm just going to talk about any sugar. Bread, rice, I'm talking about sugar, okay? Bread is sugar, rice is sugar, milk is sugar. The reason I'm saying that is because people who know all of these things, they have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates break down to smallest molecule of carbohydrate is called glucose, and glucose is a sugar. So everything you eat has sugar. On that note, I want you to know there's a I hear this all the time, and I've heard people say it, and it really is like nails on the chalkboard for me when I hear it. Apples have no protein. Banana, no protein. And I'm thinking, are you really kidding me? Don't say things like that. Because scientifically, if apple had no protein, apple would look like something else. Banana has protein for banana. I have protein for me. You have protein for you, and nobody is ever deficient of protein. कोई डॉक्टर ऐसे नहीं बोले आपको डिफिशिएंसी है, प्रोटीन का डिफिशिएंसी है. Nobody will say that. They will say vitamin C, all of that. Protein, yes, you need protein. The reason why we want to emphasize protein is because it is a building block of every cell in every organic matter. Every living thing has a protein. DNA सुना है ना? DNA तो सुना है ना? आपका DNA कैसा है? सुना है. आपका you look like your mom because your DNA is, so you know DNA. DNA is made up of protein. Everything has a DNA of its own, and every one of that has a protein. Apple में ज़्यादा protein नहीं है. So I'm not saying eat apple because you want protein. Moong dal, tur dal, all of these have higher levels of protein, but it also has carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is the sugar, and proteins, people who know science know, proteins have to bind with another protein using a sugar. So a protein binds with another protein, in between sugar has to come. Or there are a lot of sugar molecules, then there is a protein. So protein is a building block, but sugar is also, जैसे ईंटों के बीच में सीमेंट लगता है ना, sugar तो होना ही चाहिए, carbohydrate होना चाहिए. Everybody needs carbohydrate for energy. But people who have diabetes, their body is not processing the sugar so well, so they need to focus on having more protein instead of having carbohydrate. Cereals, breads, doodh, all of that, cheese. Next slide, please. Go back one more. So millets are a game changer because they have a low glycemic index. That means fiber to carbohydrate ratio is higher fiber, so it goes through your body slowly. That's all you need to know when you think about glycemic index. that it processes in your body very slowly. Improves insulin sensitivity because of high fiber and high protein in millets. It improves your processing. So because it slows down, insulin has enough time to work on your carbohydrates. Better glucose control, of course, because you're not having, your पेट भर जाता है with fiber and protein. So sugar है लेकिन इतना ज़्यादा नहीं है, like it's there but it's not that much that you can still process it. Your body can process it. Even if you get up to go to the fridge, you are still using some energy. तो जो थोड़ा खाया था वो use हो गया. तो 2-3 बार और जाओ, बाहर जाओ, you know, just walk around your house if you have to, and you can process your sugar if you don't like exercising too much. Weight management. Like I said, if instead of eating a slice of bread, if I'm making millet khichdi, पेट भर जाएगा मेरा, थोड़ी सी खिचड़ी खा के पेट भर जाएगा. I am not going to be hungry after eating millet khichdi, but a sourdough bread or a white bread or a wheat bread or, you know, खाना खाने के बाद rice, after you eat rice, your normal hunger level will be after 2-3 hours you'll feel hungry again. But if you eat something with millets, you will have double the time of your level of hungerness. So you're not going to get hungry faster because your stomach will filled up. And slow stomach emptying, basically everything processes slow in your body, so then it will really makes millet a better food for yourself. Next slide, please. So I put this, any of these, if anybody wants these slides, please let Aparna Hande know or somebody in the group know, or I'm still here. I'll send all these slides to you, and I'm always available to talk. If you text me, I'll answer it back. But I'm comparing here rice versus millet. If you can't see it, I'm putting rice has 28 grams of carb, and this is 100 grams of. If you take 100 grams of rice and 100 grams of millet, rice has 28 grams of carbs, and millets, it says it has 72 grams of carbs, right? Kitna zyada bata raha hai, right? But because of the high fiber content, look at how fiber it is. Rice has only 0.4 grams of fiber versus millet has 8.5 grams of fiber. So in small quantity of millet, one person was telling me that I eat millet and mera to sugar बढ़ जाता है because it is a higher carbohydrate, but it's the type of millet. I'll talk about that in a minute because the type of millet is also a big concern, what type of millet you get. But look at the amount of protein. Rice has only 2.6 grams of protein versus millet has 11.02 grams, so about 11 grams of protein. So protein and fiber are higher in millet, and today when you eat the khichdi, you'll see I've actually added the protein in it without adding protein powder. I don't believe in protein powders. So here I have given you comparison between the rice and the millet. Millet, you know, thoda nutty texture hai. It is cooking with more water, so it's going to be taking longer time to cook, and it's a good substitute for any meal. You know, it has more nutrients. Next slide, please. Oh, that's it. I didn't put anything anymore, but I want to let you know, my daughter was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, and when she found out, the first time you find out when the doctor tells you, they don't just immediately, they say, I can start giving you metformin and we can start you on that plan. And she says, can I think about it? Because I don't want to start taking medication. Because she knows that if you start taking medication, that you might have to be on it forever. So she says, let me think about it. So they said, oh, next time when you come, we will have to definitely, if your sugar level is still high, we'll have to put you on metformin. So she comes to me and says, Mom, I have bad news. And I said, what? Doctor said my sugar level is very high, and now I'm going to be put on medicine. Otherwise, the baby is going to be coming out very big, and they're going to have to break the baby's shoulders. I'm like, what? I never heard of that. But whatever doctor said, maybe there was a reason for it. Maybe डराने के लिए, you know, उसको scare करने के लिए. I don't know. But I said, you know, beta, you do eat a lot of pasta, you do eat a lot of rice, you do eat a lot of breads. Can we modify? She says, if it looks and tastes different, I will not like it. Then I would rather take the medicine. I said, what if I can make you Mexican rice, Mexican food, also Indian food without rice, and I make it out of millet. As long as you make it look and taste the same. I said, okay, challenge taken. So I started cooking everything she wanted with millet. I made Mexican rice. Rice का दाना तो कितना लंबा होता है ना? I told her, beta, just don't look down, just eat it because the grains are smaller. But I cooked Mexican rice using kodo millet. Kodo is हमारा क्या बोलते हैं मोरैयो. Moreyo, Gujarati people know moreyo. It's a very small dana, little seeds, and you can use that and make Mexican rice like you do Mexican rice. Instead of rice, you use millet. Now the reason why the people who said that carbohydrates are spiking, because in the store there are two kinds of millet. So please don't go today to the store and buy millet without knowing what kind of millet to buy. Do not buy polished millet. Polished meaning the husk has been removed. उसके ऊपर जो फाइबर वाली चीज थी ना वो skin like layer होता है ना outside, that has been removed. So then the khichdi cooks faster. Your khichdi, moreyo or any foxtail or any millet, what you have to do is you have to soak it at night if it has husk on it. You have to soak it at night, like I told Aparna Hande I will cook it. So last night I soaked it. And this morning I cooked it, I put it in the rice cooker and I sent it with my husband. And he says, Yatri, when I was taking, the lid just popped out one and it spilled. I said, don't worry, it's fine. Whatever is there is a prasad. So Ishwar ki krupa, jisko milna tha milega, don't worry. So he brought it in. मैंने क्या किया? What I did is I added garbanzo to it. That's number one, to add more protein. Number two, instead of adding potatoes, people who fast, Gujarati people know when you make moreya khichdi, upwas ka khichdi, you put aloo in it. If you ever want to put aloo, please substitute that for something like aloo, like lauki, dudhi, opo squash, or take sweet potato, it has more fiber. So if you want to add potato, do sweet potato. What I'm trying to tell you is don't change your diet too much, but just, I always tell people whenever they want to change something, pick one thing to do. Don't try to change everything. Every night when I make dinner, it will be out of millet. Then you're not making too many changes in your life. One thing you are doing is raat ka khichdi. When you make khichdi at night, you can take your dal and your millet, mix it up, and when you are having your afternoon cup of tea without sugar, have that millet soaked, ready. And then when you are making khichdi, put it in pressure cooker. Normally khichdi takes what? 1 or 2 whistles, right? This one is like cooking dal. It is going to take longer. Remember, it has a husk on it. So make it go 4 to 5 whistles. Cook it little bit longer. And then let it simmer. The khichdi will come out perfect. Honestly, Monica, my daughter, had told me if the khichdi tastes different from other khichdis, she will not eat it. Once in a while I was modifying the type of millet. There are 8 types of small millets and you can look it up. I don't want to take too much time. But there are lots of millets and you should have a variety. So 2-3 days do one millet and then next 2-3 days do another millet. Some of the millets are larger in grain, so it takes longer to cook. So just know it will take longer to soak, longer to cook. All it is thinking differently and planning your meal. I am not about telling people to stop. I know somebody who needs to take metformin, who is diabetic and knows the numbers and says, एक बार तो मरना है ना, खाना खा के ही मरना है. Like, why should I not eat? I'm going to die anyways, I'll just eat. So, person is not taking metformin. Please, if you are identified diabetic, you heard all these doctors. Your blood sugar, if it is in your body, imagine, I know somebody who I worked with, one day comes and says, I'm going in for surgery. I said, for what? Oh, they are taking off my toes. And I'm saying, for what? I thought she looked perfectly fine. She says, yeah, I have diabetes and now my toes, I'm not getting good circulation, so they have to cut off the toes. I'm not trying to scare you, but this is a reality. people, doctors like Dr. Asmat Noor says, when she opens her mouth, she's looking for things. She knows who has diabetes and who's not taking their metformins. So people don't need to hide it from the doctor. Doctor can only do so much. Dinesh just said that there is a gap between what doctor tells you to do and what you do at home. Sometimes we think like we are so wise. We have grandma stories and all these Ayurvedic things. All of these are good. Herbs are good. But don't discount your doctors. And if you're going to change or modify, at least let your doctor know that I'm not going to take the whole pill. I'm going to cut it in half and I'm going to take only a little bit, half the pill. But I am changing my diet. At least communicate your problem with your doctor. Doctor ke paas kabhi kuch nahi chupana chahiye. You should always tell the doctor the truth. Anyways, if you have any questions, I'm here. I know food is ready and I know everybody here is hungry. So I'm going to stop at this. But millets are really a superfood, and please add millet to one of your meals. Rice ke jagah millet cook kar lo, plain. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Yatriji, for your beautiful speech on millets. So I'm sure some of you are secretly planning to buy millets on the way home, and some of you are like me, are guilty of eating the snacks yesterday. So now Right, so we really appreciate you, and I hope you make some changes and buy millets. Now I have some announcement. Remember, we have 25% discount to become, Gopi LA member. It's a great deal. We already have 5 members. Chetna Pathar, Madhusudan Shah. Please give them a big round of applause. Madhusudan Shah, that's his wife. As a couple, they joined. And another one is Umang Mehta. Round of applause. We welcome you to Gopi LA. Yogendra Sarona and Maya Sarona, please. Round of applause again. Come on. I know you're hungry, but at least you can clap. So these are our new additions to the family. So we encourage more members. Please make use of the deal. We are getting 25%. 25%. And who else? We have one more member, Preeti Pruthushotham. Yes, Preeti ji is a member. She's already given and her name should be in the list. So thank you again. You guys have been great audience. Nalini is becoming a member too. So did you give the check? The check has to come. Okay, cash. Nalini, so we have 7 members. So take advantage of the discount we are offering for today only. Thank you. Now I am going to invite Mr. Shukla for vote of thanks. Where is Mr. Shukla? Madhu Shukla. Thank you all. I'll sign you off as your MC. I hope you all enjoyed. You had many hours to go home and make some lifestyle changes. Over to Pradeep Shukla is going to talk about vote of thanks.
We want to thank everyone for being here today, and we want to thank our speakers for sharing their knowledge, and we want to share the medical doctors for taking time. And the main thing is we're doing this so you can change your life. So thank you for everyone for attending. Thank you to all the new members who have joined Gopio, and thanks to Aparna Hande for sponsoring the entire event and all of our sponsors.
There are a lot of sponsors. Aparna Hande is the lead on our signature project for Gopio, our president now.
Okay, I'd like to request all the Gopi members to come on the stage for the group picture. All the Gopi members, please. And President and the new members, if they are available, if they're here. Come on in, Jajan. Whoever is available. Yes, all the Gopi members, please. Gopi or LA members. All the new members who become member today, they can come in the picture too, please. They come for the group picture. नीता जी आपका
Okay, boss. Okay.
of course, because
Thank you. Dinesh Kulkarni, please come to the stage for a picture and all the members. And Vandana Sinha, can you please come to the picture for the pictures, please? Preeti ji, can you come to the stage for a picture? All the members, the new members, right? We would like to invite all the new members to join us. And Neeta Patel. Neeta Patel. Chetna. Please come to the stage for a picture. All the new members. Bharat Shah. Sunila Shah. Bharat Shah, please come for the picture. Ashok Madan. Patnaik, Mr. Patnaik. Patnaik, आ जाइए. All the new members. Mukherjee, please come to the stage. Sukrit ji. Gopal ji. Gopal Kapoor to the stage. AJ. Ajay, please come to the stage. And who else? All the new members who just paid. Please don't miss out on this.
Oh yeah. Let's take this.
We have one more new member, Kidar, he just paid. So we have like 8 to 9 members. So we need more members. You can come in the pictures. So sign up fast so that we can take your picture. I know. So anybody who wants to sign up gets to take a picture. You got to pay first.
Okay.
Harakwasa. Harkwasa, are you here? Please come for the picture. Khana comes after, the picture comes first. Picture will not stay, food can stay. It will stay in your body forever, definitely. Make us apple shape or pear shape.
Yeah. Let's take a picture. Ready? 1, 2,
Any other new members?
3, and. Anybody?
Subhashji, please come. You are a great helper. You don't need special invitation. Come on. Nidhi ji, please come to the stage. Subhashji, you don't need invitation. You should participate. You should be an autopilot. Anybody else? Nidhi ji? Anybody else? Are we forgetting anybody? Please come to the stage.
Okay, ready. 1.
Vasa ji.
Oh,
Make sure nobody touches food.
Vasa.
Yatri Shukla. Lost so much weight we can barely see her. ये millet का कमाल है. That's what happens if you eat millet every day. You won't be seen. Eating like a prasad. Oh my God, you're right.
Okay. Okay, ready.
I think we need to move our party to that side.
Ready, 1.
Dr. Garsali, you are the member. Come on.
Okay,
Please come to the stage. We cannot take a picture without you. Please come.
bring a
Ajay
chair.
Dubey ji, are you the member? So you are becoming a member, right? Come with a chair.
All right, ready? 1.
You have earned to get this picture today.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, and one more. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and.
We are accepting more sign-ups. Let us know if anybody else want to become a member. We'll be around. Please contact Baliji. Okay, the discount lasts only until 2 p.m. You have 26 minutes to sign up. Yeah, 26 minutes, 30 seconds. The countdown starts. So please contact us, Baliji or Rajendra ji or myself. We are accepting more members. Thank you all. We'll be around.
22nd early morning. What month? This month. Okay. That weekend. Okay. But I don't know whether you are busy on the weekend. No, we'll find out. So, sometimes I'm busy. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just text. I'll send it to me. I'll check the date. Maybe you can text me. Text me. अरे बाप रे मतलब पहले पूजा किया पूजा का ड्रेस था उसके ऊपर ये भी चढ़ा नीचे ऑलरेडी